Hai, good morning, annyeonghaseyo, welcome back to Ijong Oppa channel. Nah, hari ini Ijong Oppa sudah hari kedua ada di kota Melbourne. Ya, tepatnya ada di hotel The Village Melbourne yang ada di salah satu jalanan yang ada di kota Melbourne. Nah, hari ini Ijong Oppa akan mengikuti free tour yang ada yang disediakan, atau memang sebenarnya sih free tour itu ada di kota Melbourne. Jadi di Melbourne ini ada yang namanya free tour keliling kota sejarah gitu, melihat keindahan kota Melbourne dan juga menapak tilas tentang sejarah-sejarah bangunan-bangunan bersejarah di kota Melbourne. Nah, di hotel ternyata free tour itu diadakan oleh hotel ini, ya hostel ya, The Village Melbourne salah satunya. Dan untuk free tour ini dimulai itu jam 10:20 pagi, jam 10:20 gitu ya. Nah, bagaimana keseruan Oppa Ijong dalam mengikuti tour ini nanti lihat aja ya. Nanti Oppa Ijong akan update terus dan Oppa Ijong akan membuat videonya ya. Oke, kalau begitu sudah dipanggil tuh untuk free tournya sudah dipanggil ya tuh. Oke, see you, bye bye.
Monday morning. How are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? Doing well. We're doing well over here. We got one woo. I'm going to ask you one more time, and I want to hear some enthusiasm on this Monday morning, ladies and gentlemen. So when I ask you how are you doing, you're going to give me a response that indicates you are just as excited as I am. A little cheering, clapping, hollering, hooting. Very well, thanks. I don't mind. Let's try it again. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing? Woo! Over here. Welcome. My name is Hugo, ladies and gentlemen. I am from Walks 101. We are the largest and most reviewed walking tour company in Melbourne. It is our absolute pleasure to be taking you out today on one of our tours. We actually have 4 tours running from here right now. So if you are on our free Melbourne walking tour, you're going to be with myself or the incredible Bo. Let's give it up for Bo, ladies and gentlemen. Tour guides, I should say. If you are here for our complete Melbourne walking tour, you're going to be with Will. Let's give it up for Will. And if you're from the Holmes Glen Institute today, if you are here with John to do a private walking tour. If you'd like to learn more about our other tours, please speak to your amazing guides today. Jump on our website or our socials. We have a few discounts that are available as well that we would love to tell you about. Without further ado, I think we will get underway though. So, if you're the Homesglen people, you might as well just stay right there, and I'm going to come around and take a photo of you in just a second, so you can stay right there. If you are here for our complete Melbourne walking tour, you are going to be with Will. Will, if you'd like to stay right there.
Stay right there.
Yes, you are here on our free Melbourne walking tour. Guess what? There's too many of you in one group. We're going to split you in half. Not in half, the group in half. If there's someone that you'd like to be with for the next 3 hours, I would recommend standing close to that person right now. If there's someone you don't like the look of, you're on the opposite side of the group.
That didn't need to be said.
There we go. That's good. Thank you very much. I'll go through. Alright,
More people like me.
We're going to move a few of you, I think, because this doesn't look like 2 even groups. So I'm going to come down about here, okay? And if you're on the right-hand side of me, would you like to make your way over here? You're all together? Yeah. Alright, we'll come over here then. There we go. Are you all together?
Are you on the complete walk?
Are you over here? And you're over with this group over here, right?
Different, complete walking, complete.
Yes, you're on the free tour with me.
I see.
Are we on the free tour? 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Counting from my strong points. 16, 18, 20, 22, 23, 24 probably. 24 probably. I might
It's funny.
Thank you very much. And I think that's about it. Alright, I'm going to come around and go a photo of all of you. So both of you like to jump in front of your group with this umbrella. This is going to be on our Facebook page. We're also going to email it out to you because a lot of people aren't on Facebook anymore. I'm going to hold that umbrella down, Bo. You guys want to come nice and close. And on the count of 3, let's give a big fist pump. We're going to say Melbourne. Alright? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Melbourne.
Something like the fist bump. Don't worry about it. No, I'll wake them up.
Alright, there you go. Do you want to take your group to the other side?
Yes, absolutely. Let's see if we can. Oh, do you want to take your group?
No, I've got an extra photo. My group, stay right here. I'm just going to take a photo. I'll be with you in 21 seconds.
So the other one is what? This one?
It's just the same tour. But
Same. Oh, 2 groups into.
You guys are literally tense for a Monday morning. We'll get you there. I haven't had my coffee yet. He's probably had 6. So. Alright, great. I assume we're on holiday. Is that the case? Yeah? So we should all be excited. Fantastic. I'm not. My name's Bo. I'm a Melbourne local. I live here. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, then I'm going to learn every single one of your names. We're all going to learn it together. At the pub, we're going to go through. We're going to test each other. That might not happen. We'll forget about it. But then, I'll tell you a little bit about the tour, and then we'll head off. So again, name's Bo. Grew up here my whole life, apart from the ages of 12 to 19. I call them my Hannah Montana years, where I lived in a place called liat, which is about 2 hours southeast of here, along the coast. If you guys know or have heard of Phillip Island, it's a little bit near Phillip Island, where the Hemsworths grew up. So, 5th Hemsworth, don't worry about it. I've been performing, so I moved back here at 19. I've been performing my whole adult life. I do stand-up comedy. I host a lot of conferences. And last year I went on a huge European trip where I went on a lot of walking tours, and I found out I love walking tours. So I came back here, and it turns out I actually love history as well. So I'm a big fan of history. You're going to hear a lot about that today. But I also, the reason I do walking tours here in Melbourne is because I love Melbourne. I honestly think it's the best city in the world. Now, if I can't convince you of that today, I want to at least convince you that it's better than Sydney. I feel as though we've got some people here from Sydney. So that's what I want to try and do. Well, let's see if we can make you move here. That's my goal for today then. We'll see. We'll give it a go. Optimism, that's what I want from you. Here's what we're going to do. I want to go around in a semicircle. I want your name. I want where you're from, and just, I don't know, you're on holiday. Tell us about, how long you're staying in Melbourne, I guess. Anything. That sentence is up to you. But there's the default for you. So we're going to start with the person who doesn't look like she wants to start. We're going to do it.
I'm Mathilde. I'm from Belgium, and I'm working with the visa.
Awesome.
I'm Mary from France, and I'm here for a working holiday visa too, and I'm here for 3 weeks.
Okay. I'm Marco from Rome. I'm on holiday here on vacation, about 2 weeks.
2 weeks, fantastic.
Okay, my name is Ivan from Indonesia, Jakarta. And then this is my holiday, the first time coming to Australia.
Oh, welcome. Yeah. There we go.
I'm Debbie from Johannesburg. I'm here for 2 weeks on holiday.
Welcome, Debbie.
I'm Millie from England, and I'm backpacking Australia for 2 months.
Awesome.
I'm Sam, I'm from England, and I'm here for 2 days.
Awesome, Sam.
Hey, I'm Monica, I'm from Czech Republic, and I'm here for working holiday.
Lovely. In front.
I'm back, I'm from Kenya, and I study in Sampai.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm Kelly, I live in Melbourne, and I'm just
Oh, lovely. You don't want to stand next to her. Yeah. I'll go on the tour with you, but I want to talk to you. All right, lovely. So, you're from Melbourne? Originally from South Africa, but you're here now? See, it works. People move here after coming here.
I'm Karen, I'm from Adelaide, I'm just here for a long weekend.
Yeah, welcome. It's a very long weekend. Starting now or is it ending now? Okay, that makes sense. There we go.
I'm Eva, I'm German, and I'm here for another 5 days.
All right, welcome. All right, lovely.
I'm Gina, I'm from Bangkok, Thailand, and I'm here with my brother.
Awesome. Welcome. Welcome. Yeah, brother, sister. Also same dynamic. I'm getting it. We're going to spend 2.5 hours together. I understand. There we go. Welcome. Lovely. Welcome. We're in Scotland, by the way. Okay. No, Glasgow's very lovely. I've been to Glasgow. I got really excited because Edinburgh is my second favourite city in the world, and Prague's my third, by the way. But look, yeah. Don't worry about it. Look, let's start again. Oh, Glasgow, that's my second favourite city in the world. There we go. That's how I could have fixed it. In front.
I'm Sally, Kiwi, now living in Brisbane.
Yeah, and do we want to speak on behalf of?
Noah, Isabella, Martin.
All right. Lovely. Here you go.
Yeah, we're just in New Zealand, and we're also better than Sydney.
All right, let's make these guys feel very, very welcome. But first, we'll go over here. We're in Scotland. Wow, that's my second favourite city in the world. There we go. And then our legends over here.
No, we're from Melbourne, New South Wales, 3 hours south of Sydney.
Yeah. There we go. All right.
Italian made.
Italian made Australians. All right. Well, mate, you're definitely going to fit here in Melbourne. You're Italian made. And 3 hours south of Sydney, you've got no loyalty to the city. We can do it. We're gonna get you to move down here. Don't worry about it. Guys, anyone been on a free walking tour here before? No, fantastic. Let me tell you a little bit about it. We're gonna go to our first stop over there in just a second to see this massive building here. It is a huge reason as to why Melbourne is even a city at all. We're going to check out the best parts of Melbourne, right? Spoiler alert, they happen in laneways or alleys. And then we're going to stop off for a coffee. We're going to check out some arcades. I'm going to take you to Federation Square and tell you why no one goes to Federation Square. We're going to go to Chinatown, go to the old Melbourne jail, and we're going to finish at a pub for a nice sit-down meal and a beer. So I'm definitely looking forward to that as well. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about just the facts and the figures. I'm going to tell you how to order a coffee, what to order at a pub, what Melburnians do and where they eat, and what the best place to do it in Melbourne is. If you've got questions on what to do today, tomorrow, for your whole stay, if you're a fan of movie history, if you're a fan of sports or anything like that, tell me, because I can incorporate that into the tour. If I told you everything I knew about Melbourne, this tour would go for 8 hours. So I am going to condense it down to 2.5. I want to be at the pub at 1:30, and then I will stay at the pub and answer all of your questions as well. But I'm happy for you guys to jump and ask me throughout the tour as well. Does that sound good? Easy. Now the way a free walking tour works is it's absolutely free. We stand by that. If, however, you value the tour, you love the tour, maybe you love Melbourne, I'm going to ask just at the end to pay what you think it's worth. I do not want you paying $1 more than what you think it's worth. So I'm going to do that at the end as well. What we're going to do is we're going to head over to this building over here. Just a couple of safety precautions. Green means go, red means stop. Cars are on the left-hand side. All right, let's go.
No, we don't have these things.
No, it's here.
And then like we're getting lost, but no, the same place.
So what have you been doing for the last week?
But I know exactly what's happening.
Including the pram. I reckon we can do it. I'm going to be doing maybe a bit of that, so we're going to lift this just onto these two. Is that alright? So let's move up to here. Yep. On the Sydney side. There we go. There we go. Alright, let's all jump up now. Let's all jump up just over here. Maybe on the steps. You can have a seat if you wanted to. We'll be here for about 3 to 5 minutes. Alright. Oh, there we go. I've got the old Treasury building. A lot to do with why Melbourne is even a city at all. Does anyone think that they know why Melbourne's a city? Let's see if we can show a hand. No? Excellent. All right, there we go. So this building was starting to be built in 1851. Something very, very important happened in 1851, but I want to jump 16 years earlier when the first white settler discovered Melbourne. And this white settler done what no other white settler had done when they came to Australia. They acknowledged that there were other people here before them. Right? First guy to do it. And I want to acknowledge them as well, the Wurundjeri tribe from the Kulin Nation. I want to pay my respects to the elders, both past, present and emerging. This is what this white settler had done when he arrived in Melbourne, and he said, and he saw it and he said, look, this is great, we're going to set up a little village here. A few people had come to Melbourne before, but they didn't like the look of the place, they thought it was dirty, they thought the Yarra River looked gross, and they're like, nah, this isn't a place for a village, and they moved on. But this guy did it, he signed a treaty with the Aborigines, and he set up shop here. Do you guys know what his name is? Right, his name is Batman. Batman discovered Melbourne. John Batman. John Batman discovered Melbourne. You'll see a lot of like Batman Parks and Batman Hills and Batman Avenues. There's a tram stop called Batman. A lot of things named after John Batman here in Melbourne. And including, when he first arrived, he also named the town after himself as well. So it was never called Melbourne. It was never meant to be called Melbourne. Right? When John Batman got here, he named this place Batmania. Batmania. So if nothing else changed, nothing else happened, I would have been standing here as a Batmanian. We would have called Bat Trams, we would have been Bat Caves, it would have been awesome. It's like, welcome to Batmania. That would have been a great way to start a tour. You can understand why Hugo was so excited if we go Batmania. That was sick. But 2 years later, oh, I'm so sorry. In 1837, just 2 years later, the government of New South Wales, which is the state that holds Sydney, they looked at what John Batman had done and said, whoa, 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 you can't just sign a treaty with the Aborigines. They don't own the land. This is Crown land. We declared it for Britain. So they just renamed it Melbourne, which was the British Prime Minister at the time. So this became Melbourne from 1837 onwards. So now I'm just a Melburnian. Right? But the government of New South Wales, they didn't like Melbourne. They still hated it. They didn't understand why John Batman was even here. And they were getting really, really sick of having to govern it, of having to come down, and having to deal with all of their problems. 13 years later, in 1850, they said, you know what? Melbourne sucks. You have Melbourne. There we go. It's yours. But you have to create your own government, your own colony, and then you just deal with it. So we did. We created Victoria, which is the state we are now in. That was in 1850. Now in 1851, we found gold, and a lot of it, right? In fact, by 1861, we were the richest city in the world. Right, we had a third of the world's gold. If you ever wonder where the Melbourne-Sydney rivalry is born, it is honestly probably born out of that, the fact that they gave us away and then a year later we found gold. I honestly think we knew where the gold was, but we were just waiting. We're just like, surely they're going to give us up at any point now and then we'll become rich. Right, so we built buildings like this, the old Treasury building. We built buildings like anytime you've seen European architecture, we've got the Windsor Hotel over there. That is a 5-star hotel. That was built in the 1860s. It predates the Ritz in France. It predates Waldorf Astoria in New York City. It predates the Savoy in London. So it is an old school 5-star hotel that is beautiful both inside and out. We've got the Parliament building over there as well, which is our state parliament. It was our capital from 1901 to 1927. Basically, Melbourne and Sydney were fighting over who would become the capital, and Britain came in like an angry mother and said, "You're both not having it." And then they found a sheep paddock in between Melbourne and Sydney, and they built Canberra. For the first 27 years of Melbourne's existence, it was the capital of Australia. If you guys want to know more about the history, I'm going to be sprinkling it throughout the tour. But if you were really keen on what I just said, or if you're keen on the gold rush, in the old Treasury building is a history museum. Really interesting. They've got 2 photos in there. One of Melbourne in 1844, might as well be 1850, and then one in 1882. And you can see the difference that the gold made. One of them is just hilly with a couple of houses, and then only 35, 36 years later, the whole place is basically built. So it's a very interesting city. You can't quite get a grasp on how quickly it grew. But we built this CBD, so the Central Business District, and that is what we're going to traverse now. So I'll tell you a little bit about the history of the CBD, but we are going to go into the CBD right now. There are free trams within that CBD. There's also free Wi-Fi as well, if you want. But I'm going to show you the best parts of Melbourne, and I'm going to do it right now. We're going to get it out of the way, so you can love it, and you can love the rest of the tour. We're keen to go. Any questions on that? Any questions? Nah? Right, let's do it.
Yeah, probably one. Again, we can find out
Museum.
And like no events like this too.
Oh, treasure.
Just to show you that it's not just in designated laneways where we do a lot of street art, it is literally everywhere. So as you can see, this huge mural over here, a little dancing ballerina that's in motion as well. And then behind me we've also got Harley House, which is a very, very lovely bar and restaurant. They specialise in pisco, which is a Peruvian brand. Has anyone been to Peru? There we go. So did you have some pisco while you're there? Absolutely. So they do, honestly, the pisco sour. If you haven't had a pisco sour, jump on it. It's really, really sick. There's other places. So we've got maybe about 3 or 4 more Peruvian restaurants. It's my favourite. I'm going to take you down some more laneways. But here's a tip in Melbourne. I know everywhere else in the world you're discouraged from going down laneways or alleys. But in Melbourne, it's highly encouraged to do so. That is where the best stuff is. That is where we eat. That is where we drink. We do have a hidden bar tour that I am hosting this afternoon. There are currently 4 people on it. There are room for 8 more. It is usually $50. Because you're on this tour, it can be $40. Honestly, you slap it down, I promise you'll have a good time. I just want the more people, the better it is for me. But we'll get drunk, we'll have fun, and I'll show you some hidden bars. So we can deal with that at the pub, so let me know if you're keen. I won't tell you much more about that until we're at the pub. But we're going to go down 3 more laneways. We're going to check out some more hidden bars, and then we're also going to check out some street art as well. As we go down those laneways, you can see there's about 4 or 5 restaurants that you couldn't see from just the street. That is why you should definitely explore Melbourne laneways. So let's go to our second one, just over here. What about this one in particular? Pretty cool. Now we originally had laneways because this was a planned city and we planned it in 1837 when we didn't really have anyone to build it. We had like 2 architects that built most of the city. We had no plumbers. And so when we built Melbourne, we planned for these laneways to act as our irrigation system. So people would just throw their waste out the window and it'd be washed down into the Yarra. So the first big crisis in Melbourne is that people called it Smelbourne. Melbourne that stank. So a lot of diseases were happening. But we built a sewage system, don't worry about it, it's done. We got some plumbers over on the ship, and they've done it. So these laneways just remained empty for a while until we started putting stuff in here. So here's how thin some of the bars are. Right, so just down here you can see a little lamp. Just a little, about 8% of the way down, it's just sticking out from the walls, very hard to see. That turns on at 5 PM, that is one of Melbourne's best cocktail bars. So you go in there and it's got this like 1920s prohibition feel to it. The cocktails are absolutely delicious. And you wouldn't even know just by going down there. It's called, hang on, we got someone from France who's our French person. Alright, so I'm going to butcher this. It said, eau de vie, which means water of life or elixir of life or something like that. Yeah? Alright, there we go. It's called eau de vie. Don't worry about it. I speak French. Oui. Alright. I'm getting heckled by sirens. So it's a really, really great place. If you go down there, you can see, oh my goodness, and rain. There's no sign to say that that's a cocktail place. It's a plain doorway. Inside that cocktail bar is a fake bookshelf that you can push aside and go into a hidden whiskey bar. In this place here, as we try and get some shelter, I know place of shelter. In this place here is a cocktail bar called Trinket, not hidden at all. But in Trinket there is a wardrobe. You open that wardrobe, you can push the clothes aside and it goes down to a hidden wine bar. That is how Melbourne drinks now. It's not about exclusivity, it's not about pretentiousness. If you know about the place, you're meant to go. They won't ever refuse you, they won't look at you and judge you. If you know about it, you're meant to go. Honestly, there is a saying that says you see Sydney and you live Melbourne. And the meaning of that is that Sydney is beautiful. If you've been, you've probably loved it. If you're about to go, you're probably going to love it as well. They've got beautiful harbours, recognisable landmarks, beautiful beaches. In Melbourne, we don't really have that. And so we've created an experience that you actually have to live in Melbourne. So you can see it in our bars, you can see it in our food. I'll talk a little bit more about our food a little bit later. But we are going to check out, this should be light rain, we're going to check out the next laneway. Hopefully the rain holds off. We're going to check out the next laneway where there's some really great street art, so really great Instagram opportunities. And there's also a Banksy down the next laneway as well. So to make street art legal, we would have to essentially define art. We would have to say, why is that art and the tag's not art? That is not something we want politicians doing, so it does remain illegal. However, again, if you're great at it, please kind of look the other way. I think this is getting better. So what we're going to do is we're going to see if we can walk around here very gently. If you've got an umbrella, use it. Perfect opportunity for some Instagram snaps, but we will walk quite briskly past. Oh, they've got coffee. Obviously the name of our biggest musical export. They are technically sitting in Adelaide. They came over to Melbourne before they got famous. They called it on their home base for many years. So we'll keep heading up here. Again, plenty more Instagram opportunities as well. I think that's it for rain for the day as well. It's meant to rain up until 12 and then we're good.
By the way, who painted all this? The line line? Is it Melbourne artist?
A lot of different
Local artists?
A lot of different, yeah, all local artists, and then a lot of different of them as well. So they can make.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Also international artists, also they draw in the wall like that?
yeah, so some of the work is commissioned. If you can see these big walls.
The big one, yes.
Yeah, so some of those the Melbourne Council pays for, but most of the time they'll just do it for free.
I see.
So
that one is, you said that the line wise.
hang on, we'll wait for this truck.
Okay. You want?
Walk through shopping mall.
Oh, that's good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Take photos of the robot ice cream bar if you want.
Dass man halt irgendwie rumsteht.
Yeah.
Series with as opposed to one.
It's just like a...
Yeah.
No staff. They're using the robot.
Pardon?
No staff. They're using the robot.
Yeah, just for the
Nice.
Yeah.
And so what they did is they're just like, all right, well, if you're on a corner, then your license is through. It's not good at all. Melbournians don't even really like Federation Square, to be fair. When we planned planned this city, we planned to not have any squares or parks. This is our first one that was opened up in 2002. They planned to have no squares or parks in central Melbourne so that people couldn't protest. It turns out you can just protest on the road, it's very easy. We're a big protest city. I'll tell you a little bit about that. I'll give you a big reason and a small reason. But honestly, when this was built in 2002, Melburnians didn't like it at all. In fact, we still don't. This is not empty because there was just rain. This is empty because no one ever goes here. We don't know what to do with it. It doesn't look great. This is honestly what culture looks like when a government tries to force it upon you. That's how we as Melburnians kind of think about the place. We are a big protest city. I'll give you two examples. Number one, we see this tower, that is the Eureka Tower. That has a sky deck, the highest sky deck in the southern hemisphere. 88 levels up, and obviously 60 degrees in Melbourne. You see up there they have like kind of an open sky deck as well. It's very, very windy. But honestly, if you want to see the topography of Melbourne, it is a really, really great place to go. In fact, one of the most popular things to do in Melbourne. I'll give you the other two before the end of the tour. I'll give you the other two almost now. They've named after Eureka Rebellion, which was the first act of democracy in Australia. So we were a convict nation, and so we were just used to being told what to do. We didn't have democracy. And in 1854 that all changed. The government introduced gold commissioners, which were designed to try and grab as much gold from the miners as humanly possible. So they did that in terms of taxes. So every gold that they found, they got a tax. They were taxed on that quite heavily. Fees to even mine to begin with, and then and the most ridiculous one were fines. So they had fines for everything. So they had fines if you swore, they had fines if you left your shovel in a 45-degree angle, like even if you just go up for like a smoko break or anything like that. You had to leave your shovel in a certain way, you would be able to get a fine. So that was designed so the government would grab all of the money and keep the working class as working class. Because if they got rich, then no one would want to do the jobs that no one wants to do. So they were trying to design Australia in a way, and Melbourne specifically in a way, where the working class remained working class. Now the miners were quite upset with that, and they decided to do something about it. They built a stockade and they said, we'll go to war with you, we don't care, we will fight you, this is ridiculous, we want rights. And so a very, very, very short war occurred, and in fact, 22 lives were lost on the miners' side, 6 lives were lost on the government side. After that, they pulled a halt to the war, and it was actually won by the miners. Even though they lost more lives than the government side, it was won by the miners because as a result of that war, the gold commissioners were completely abolished, and miners also got legislative to speak to Parliament and input on ideas that affected them. So that was in 1854. This building is in honour of that. The gold is meant to represent the gold rush. The red strip is meant to honour the lives that were lost, so that we could have democracy here. That is protest number one. Huge protest. Very beautiful protest. I need a more recent one, and it's a smaller protest. This is designed to show you that we will protest about absolutely anything. This building right here, in 2016, the company Apple wanted to knock this building down and create a giant Apple headquarters. And 14 years after Federation Square was built, Melburnians suddenly started loving Federation Square. We're just like, no, you can't knock that down. This Federation Square is the beating heart of the city. We don't want an Apple headquarters there. I don't even know why. I joined in. It's on Facebook and social media. I joined in. I don't even know why I didn't want it there. But it was just momentum. So we actually rushed to get this state heritage listed so Apple couldn't knock that building down. They eventually gave up, and then they said, fine, we'll build it in Sydney. You don't want us? You don't want us. So they built it in Sydney. So we saved this building. We don't know why, but it was fun. It's definitely something to do during the day. In this building here is something very important I do want to talk about, the Korean Heritage Trust. When I talk about the history of Melbourne, I'm talking about 1835 onwards. Our tourism board actually approached the Aboriginal elders of the tribes that still exist here in Melbourne. They said, hey, how do you want us to talk about your history? Because their history is, you know, it's one of the oldest civilizations in the world. And they responded, don't. You'll stuff it up. We're the custodians of our history. We should teach people about our history. So on every tour, I point out the Koori Heritage Trust is free entry, and you can discover Aboriginal Victoria, one of the oldest civilizations in the world. One more thing I want to point out, and then we'll head over to Queen Street Station over there. But you can see a spire that is sticking up over here. That is the art centre. That spire is meant to represent a ballerina. I don't know how, but it wouldn't be an art centre if it wasn't confusing. A little bit further down is the National Gallery of Victoria. That is also on the top 3 things you need to do in Melbourne, right? I know every single city has an art gallery, and every single time you go to a city, someone from that city says, go to the art gallery. But go to the art gallery, all right? Not the city to skip. Not the city to skip. That is the most visited art gallery in the Southern Hemisphere. It is top 20 in the world. Top 20 most visited in the world, which means we're doing something right. There's about 17 on every street in Europe, I think by law, I believe. And so to make top 20 means we're doing okay. There's a free permanent exhibition, which goes from the 13th century right up until modern times. And that is over there. The Australian arm of it was where we met down the bottom of the stairs. That's got Aboriginal music, so thousands and thousands of years old, right up until modern times as well. So 2 arms, international exhibition, Australian exhibition, both free. They've got temporary exhibitions as well, which is like about $20. That sky deck up there is around 21 minutes to go up to the sky deck, and I recommend you go there as well. All right, let's head this way. That is leaving. No one looks at them because, as you can see, there's digital clocks in there. They're just a little bit easier when you're in a rush. In the 90s, they tried to remove those analog clocks, digital clocks in there, and if you know Melbourne by now, we lost our minds. We had nothing to do that day, so we're like, no, it's tradition. The clocks are meant to be analog, so they quickly changed them back. It is home to also a famous Melbourne phrase that's died out a little bit now. To meet under the clocks or meet underneath the clocks. It's a very famous phrase that appears in a lot of Australian songs, a lot of Melbourneian songs as well. Essentially just means that if you were with a friend and you lost them in a shopping mall, you meet under the clocks. And if you're going to Melbourne, you just assume to meet under the clocks. So if you lost your friend, you'd have to go home. Bring them on the home phone, watch the mate come back, say, hey, let's head back in with you again. So then eliminated that everyone. Then underneath the clock. So it's died out now, it's a mobile phone, and you don't really need a meeting place. My mum still uses the phrase. My mum grew up in Melbourne, she'll still ring me and say, Val, are we meeting under the clocks? It's like, no, come to my house, you know where I live. So that's died out. I'll give you 2 more Melbourne phrases before our time is over. What we're going to do now is we're going to head to a few Melbourne arcades. So those are walk-through shopping malls. We'll meet in the centre of the arcade. So let's go in there.
How about you? Do you travel often?
Yeah, in the year maybe 3 times in the year, but a small. Not.
When have you been? Which places did you go to recently?
Southeast Asia mostly already. Hong Kong, Shanghai, and then Europe. I have been to Europe.
Which places in Europe?
Europe. But it's a long time ago. Maybe it's 5 years ago. Yeah.
We'll just gather around there. There's another tour as well. We don't want to. See if we can try and gather in as close as possible. Up there. This is built in 1892. They've upkept it. Now it's important. This is the type of arcade you build when you've got all of the money in the world. So even imported the tiles from Italy. Why not get it from Italy? We want to be genuine about it. But yeah, we've got this. This here has also been open since 1892 as well. That has been passed down from family to family. There is almost always a line. There's quite a short line there, but it's very famous. This is home to Melbourne Factory number 2. This is called walking the block or doing the block. Very quickly became tradition in Melbourne from 1892 until around the 1940s. After church on Sunday, single women used to walk in from one way, and single men used to walk in from another way. So they would pass each other, and if they saw someone they liked, they would link arms and then just go on a picture. It's like, kind of like an animal. My nana grew up in Melbourne as well. She used to always say, I'm walking the block, are ya? So she'd say that to my mum, and just meant, look, are you going out to pick up dogs? She'd like, you know, mum going out, you're like, you don't walk the block, and my mum's like, both didn't really understand each other. But I think it's a very beautiful tradition as well, because it's central to the way it's locked down, which means you were from a family that came from one of those So there's a few marriages here in Melbourne, which I think is very lovely, because in 1,000 years humans still exist. You can see these 4 family trees that exist from only 40 years of a tradition in Melbourne. So I think it's very beautiful. What we're going to do is we're going to head to our next arcade. So we want to almost go straight. We'll turn left and then right very, very quickly. And then the arcade is just across the road. So if you go over, you lose me, which I somehow lose me during that place. Remain where you are. I'm in a forest, right? Just come down here. So just don't move around.
Les pots de Nutella là, t'as vu?
A lot of the time, sometimes they don't do it at all. I think they were built drunk, so they are cursed as being drunk forever. And they're also European mythology, so around 1890 we didn't have our own legends, we didn't have our own heroes, we didn't, you know, when we built statues, there's I don't know if we'll go past the State Library today, I'll definitely point out the State Library though. At the State Library we have 3 statues. One of them is Sir Edmund Barry, who existed here in Melbourne. Right, the other 2 are St George and Joan of Arc. So we were really struggling with how to honour certain people at certain times. So Gog and Magog is just European mythology. Our heroes were actually created at the same time that this place was getting built. And I'm going to tell you about probably our biggest legend at the old Melbourne jail. Where he actually passed away. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that at the old Melbourne jail. As we're leaving, you can see an old man on the right. That is Father Death. It's meant to represent death. Pretty grim stuff if you're just trying to shop. On the left-hand side, there used to be a giant porcelain baby that was meant to represent life. But we took it down for cleaning and we lost it. We just lost it, so we don't know where it is. There is a rumour that a giant porcelain dingo ate it, but that can't be confirmed. There's only one person that ever laughs at that, and I will continue to say it. I think it's funny. Let's head out. You know how I was talking about the new bars, a lot of people are trying to open about 30 in the bars in the Chinatown alone because they have a lot of layaways. So really, really great place to go to. We're going to cruise today. We're going to go up this way. We want to cross the road at some point. 5 p.m. Right, I can just go across the road and drink for free. So people started celebrating when Ned Kelly came down. It used to be like, oh, Ned Kelly's coming into town. They would grab their deck chairs, they would sit by the bank, they would watch him Robert, and they would line up at the pub across the road. So they celebrated this man. He was a very, very popular person. Some would even call him kind of a hero. And so that, oh no.
Hai guys, welcome back to Ijong Oppa channel. Nah, akhirnya finally untuk tour walking tour yang free dapat dari ini dari hotel tadi ya, sudah berakhir tadi setelah kita keliling-keliling CBD Melbourne, kota Melbourne pusatnya, dan itu sudah selesai dan berakhir di belakang Ijong Oppa ini merupakan bar tour. Jadi tour terakhir yang merupakan tour untuk mencoba berbagai macam minuman atau koktail, di mana di sini itu kalian boleh minum sepuasnya dengan harga kurang lebih $40. Jadi bisa minum sepuasnya. Tapi Ijong Oppa tidak ikut untuk tour bar tour ini karena Ijong Oppa nggak bisa minum terlalu banyak, dan itu bisa hangover nanti. Padahal kan Ijong Oppa masih mau keliling-keliling lagi di sini ya. Oke, kalau begitu sampai jumpa lagi di hari berikutnya, di besok ya. Untuk hari ini kita sekian dulu karena kaki Ijong Oppa juga udah lumayan sakit juga. Paling Oppa mau foto-foto bentar untuk bikin memperbanyak portfolio Oppa ya. Oke, kalau begitu sampai jumpa lagi dan ciao.